welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Other. Your host, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Right, so today we are doing a free choice, your choice, this one was, and one we had talked about in the past, but we never got around to, and you raised it again, and so we gave it a watch. Do you want to tell everyone what it is?
This is RRR, Rise, Roar, Revolt, as it's sometimes put down as.
Yeah.
Tollywood, I think, is the proper term for it.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll get into the specifics of the film first, but we'll do in a bit. But we'll do Comfy Chair first. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
That sound all right? Do you want to go first, or shall I?
Okay, yeah. So my first one is actually an old strategy game that I spotted on that was on sale recently, called Stronghold. Now, this is a bit more of a. It's kind of a gritty, realistic one to Age of Empires' sort of moderately high fantasy to like image of the Middle Ages. A lot of it is reliant on like pretty much the suffering of your people.
Okay.
You're not good. Well, you're trying to be a good lord, but generally you won't be very good.
Yeah, I think I remember this. It's from way 20 years ago, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Original publication release date was, and this is I can only find the remaster, which was from last year. But yeah, I'm playing the remaster.
Okay, it says 2001 here. I've just looked at it.
Okay, yeah,
was the original, but it's been
23
remastered.
years ago.
So it says it says here there's an English version in medieval Britain, but I don't know which version you were playing. But yeah, it looks like there's all sorts. Yeah. It's got castles and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of castle building, a lot of like optimizing your production lines. What the cool thing is, instead of just having like villagers it's just like you gather food resource.
Yeah.
Food is a thing, but varieties of food are a thing. Having broader varieties means your peasants are happier. And that makes them more likely to like not skive off work or accept harsher taxes.
Yeah.
If you keep them drunk, that makes them even happier.
They're even happier, right? I see. Yeah, okay, sounds all right. Yeah, what's like the usual running time for a game? Is it an hour? Is it 5 hours? What is it?
On basic Stronghold itself, it's more of a mission-based thing.
Okay.
So like you have an objective of like make 12 swords. Or something.
Yeah.
In the middle of that, you're contending with like bandits coming and raiding you, and all sorts of like problems. Wolves are always attacking. So.
Okay, that sounds kind of cool. I can't remember if I played it or not, but I do remember seeing it about. I do remember it knocking about. Okay, my next choice kind of harks back to one of the first films we ever watched, in a way. It's Tron, the original Tron, because I think the first movie we ever covered was Tron Legacy, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was.
But this is going back before that, Tron from 1982. I quite like this film. I hadn't seen it in a long while, so I thought I'd give it another go. It's got kind of a style, hasn't it? It's got its own kind of style, the weird coloration and effects of when they're in the electronic world. And though the techno babble's a bit ridiculous, sounds a bit ridiculous now, and probably was ridiculous like 2 years after this came out, but it's still a lot of fun. And honestly, they got some quite exciting, basically, gameplay. The stuff with the bikes is great, and the tank, and the throwing the discs. It all kind of works well, and I kind of like the whole look and feel of this movie. It's a very lightweight story, and it's a bit silly, but it's fine. It's kind of, I'm trying to think of precursor. There's other films Ready Player One probably is like a descendant of Tron, isn't it? Going into an electronic world and fighting within it. And Wreck-It Ralph, things like that. But this was kind of the first one that did that. Though there was also around this time Lawnmower Man. I think Lawnmower Man came later than this. Lawnmower Man, that was another thing involving the electronic world that was kind of goofy too. But Tron, I remember going to see it at the cinema. I must have been 17. and I quite enjoyed it then. But 1982 was a fantastic year for movies anyway, and it was one of those. And it was a lesser one of those, fair enough. We had the ETs and the Thing and all that sort. Or was that 81? I can't remember. But Tron, I liked it. It was a kind of, I think it was one of the good things Disney did in the 80s. Disney wasn't great in the 80s, right? But Tron was one of its more successful, for me anyway, sort of elements. I did enjoy it. You've seen it, right? But it's been a while, I assume.
I've never seen the original Tron. No.
Oh, we'll have to watch it sometime, mate. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Probably worth watching. Going straight into Legacy. Do a double bill. I don't think I've seen Legacy since we talked about it. And that was 12 years ago.
Yeah,
about that. Yeah. So it's been a while, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's me. That's Tron. Back to you.
Okay. So my next one is a audiobook I've been listening to. It's another 40k audiobook. It's the first in the very, very long Horus Heresy series, which is about a whole pre-event where a character named Horus led a massive rebellion against the sort of god emperor of the setting. Okay. This book is called Horus Rising, and it's essentially like just to establish like how good of a character Horus was prior to his heresy, his downfall. And it's a lot of the first half of the book is this quite introspective part, because a lot of it is, I wouldn't say foreshadowing, because most of the actual backstory was written before the book, and it's stuff you know. So one of the first lines is, "I was there the day Horus slew the emperor."
Right.
It's not that emperor that he's talking about. So it's all like a lot of in joke sort of stuff, but it's very heavily about what it means to be one of these like demigod soldiers. What's going to happen to them after their crusade is done? What it's going to be for them during how they can interact with regular people. A big sort of like part of the first act is the introduction of regular people among their ranks. As the remembrances there to like chronicle everything. And then Act 2 is about the mega-arachnids of Planet Murder. So it's kind of tone shift.
Lovely. Yeah, Planet Murder. Lovely. Right. Yeah.
I love 40K.
Sounds like Planet Terror. Yeah, written by Dan Abnett, I've noticed.
Yes,
that name is very familiar to me.
Yeah, you'll have read something by Dan Abnett. Yeah. Like, he writes Marvel, DC, he does a lot of 2000 AD.
Right.
Most of the Warhammer books.
I knew the name, I couldn't place it. I assumed it was just from 2000 Warhammer, but it isn't, right?
He does Doctor, I think he's done Doctor Who.
That might be where I know it, actually. Yeah.
Like, I genuinely don't understand how this man can put out this much work.
He must love writing.
Like, his bibliography is colossal. So
just loves writing. Yeah, okay, cool. He's written some Guardians of the Galaxy too, from the look of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just having I'm scrolling, and it just keeps going and going and going. So yeah. Okay. Right. Cool. Sounds like a cool book to me.
Yeah, it is a very fun book. The narrator is also really good. I think it's his name's Jonathan Keeble. Right. He's really good at it. Like, Horus sort of has this much more charismatic and smooth voice. He's supposed to be a really charismatic. He's a Primarch, which is like a god, for lack of a better term. Like
Primarch, did you say? Yeah. Primarch, like the retail place. Primarch.
Yes. Except
how about
that? ARCH instead of ARK.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but very fun book. You can see the set of all the horror that's going to be coming up in it.
Yeah. So. Okay, cool. All right, my next one is a set of movies, kind of horror thriller movies. I really like this, and I was on another podcast recently, which I don't think the episode's come out yet, on the United Nations Horror, talking about all 5 in this franchise. So if you want to hear more about it, go look up United Nations Horror, and one of the most recent releases will probably be that that series, and it is the Final Destination series. Before we decided to cover it on that podcast, and I've always wanted to give these films a watch because I've heard they're quite a lot of fun, and I think I saw the first one and quite enjoyed it, and then just kind of mostly forgot about it. Oh my goodness, this is one of the most fun horror thriller franchises I've seen since Freddy, maybe.
Okay.
Or, Jason. But it's more consistently good. There's always a bad one, but they're still fun, aren't they? But they're not great, well made. All 5 of these are well made, and they've all got a very similar setup, which is there's some sort of disaster happens. Then you see that disaster didn't really happen. It's someone's premonition of a disaster, and some people escape because of the premonition, and the rest of the people die. And then what happens is fate or death or something starts knocking off the survivors in a certain order. And the rules kind of change based on how it all went down. And it's quite clever. Really enjoy this, man. I mean, it's tense, it's fun. There's a lot of misdirect around the deaths. So you think the people are going to die one way, and then suddenly it's another way. And they're kind of... the quotient of WTF moments in these movies is very, very high. Let's put it that way. It's kind of a fun, people dying because of what appears to be invisible forces, like happened in like the Omen series, right?
Yeah.
So there's a touch of that. There's a touch of almost the slasher about it, but there's no actual slasher. It's just fate. It's just circumstances causing people to die really hard, And I have to say, there's a lot of liquids running to, causing electrocutions. There's a lot of electrocution, and there's a lot of squashing.
Okay.
I'll just say that. There's lots of things falling on people and things like that out of the blue, or buses just to completely things like that, right? And all 5 are really good. The first 3 are particularly good. They are a slightly higher level than the last 2, but the last 2 are still fun. And I have to say, there's a scene, a prolonged scene of about 10 minutes in the 5th one involving a gymnast on a bar, I can't remember, a balancing bar, the bars they dance along. And we see from the ceiling a little screw falls on the bar, and that is left pointing upwards on this balance beam, while this athlete's kind of this gymnast doing dancing. You're thinking, oh, and it goes on and on. Really fun series. I really, really enjoyed all 5. Actually, big recommend for me. But as I say, I've talked about it on the United Nations of Horror, and that should be out any day now. Probably it might well be out by the time we release this. So if you want to hear me talking a lot more about the individual films, going into spoilery details, in fact, that's the place to go listen to it. Otherwise, big recommend for me. I really enjoyed these. I'm looking forward to watching them again. I'm going to watch all 5 again soon. I enjoyed them that much. That was really fun. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so my final one is a city building game, actually. It's a beaver-themed city building game called Timberborn, where the whole sort of purpose is you're reliant on rivers that run through the area that keep the land fertile and keep everything nearby working. And slowly you build up resources, but then eventually winter comes or a drought happens, and suddenly you might need a dam or two. And being beavers, you're pretty good at that. So it's basically a kind of aquatically based city builder. So you're building towns and laying lanes to people to travel around on, or your beavers to travel around on the surface, and also managing the flows of the water, whether you need to cover up poisoned water. There might be something. It's just referred to as bad water, but it's oil.
I see. Yeah.
And blights and droughts. Also, all these terrible disasters that can happen at any given time. You usually get a in-game day or two's warning. You got to get everything set up. Got to get your dams set up so that they'll stop water.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that sounds cool. PC game, right?
yeah. I'm playing it on PC. I think it's only on PC, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Right, my last one is something we have both been watching over the last few months, and we just happen to watch them together, right? When we get together, when we sort of eat together or something, we tend to watch one of these, and it's the TV show from the late 70s from British TV called Monkey, a Japanese series, but dubbed into English by, I think, the BBC. I could be wrong. And then it became a massive hit all over the world once it was dubbed into English. Really, really fun. There were 2 seasons. We've watched the first season. I don't really want to watch the second one because half of it wasn't ever dubbed, and also one of the main cast, Pigsy, who was so good, was replaced, and it's just not the same. So we've watched basically the first 26 episodes, the first season. Enjoyable show, right?
Yeah, really fun show.
A lot of the episodes don't make any sense, but most of them
a lot of
do.
it is nonsense, and you can vaguely recognise the original story from Journey to the West.
Yeah, you know Journey to the West.
Yeah, I know a bit of it.
Watched it. You
and
were saying,
sometimes
that's the story of this.
Like, this is a story of this, and they've changed it so much it's unrecognisable. And
yeah, like you were saying, there was one bit where it's actually rhino gods, but for some reason they call them. Is it unicorn gods?
Yeah, they called them unicorns in this, but it just looked like guys with penises on their heads.
Penises growing out the top of their heads. Yeah, things like that. There's also a lot of innuendo throughout, and Pigs is hilarious. What they've dubbed him into is hilarious. I just wonder sometimes, did they actually have a script translated and then they just did whatever they, because there's a lot of jokes in there, like Monkey's got a staff that can grow, can't it, by magic, and
boy do they make a lot of use out of that.
There's ladies saying, oh, let me rub your stick and make it bigger, and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's kind of funny. I mean it is very funny. It is very funny. So, like I say, we watched the first 26. The last episode being the ones we watched being the end of the way, and it was just fun. It was just really good fun. The dubbing is questionable. Some modern sensibilities would have a problem with this, but it's a thing of its time. And honestly, it's kind of charming and good-natured. And it's just fun. There's the 4 characters and the horse. The horse is, in fact, a dragon, isn't it, converted into a horse? Just messing about, walking from China to India to go and get sacred scrolls, where a monkey and pigs in Sandy are constantly
whinging.
Yeah, like, so if Monkey's getting into a massive fight, Pigsy will go and have a rest, and things like that. He won't even get involved. And whenever, it's always about Pigsy, that always makes me laugh. It's like, he keeps going on about how handsome he is as well. He's convinced he's really handsome. Or he's got pig's ears, right? On a good day, that is. Sometimes he goes full pig. And also an interesting aspect of this show, which I thought was kind of progressive, is there's a lot of sort of cross-gendery roles. For example, Buddha does manifest as a woman. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say Buddha's a woman in this. We've got Guan Yin, who's I think the technical term is Bodhisattva, but she shows up as a man. Yeah. And they specifically say, well, if Buddha's going to invert, I'm going to invert. So.
Also, one of the main characters, Tripitaka the priest, is actually played by a woman, and Tripitaka's a male character. So it's kind of interesting and and not much is made of it. It's all fine.
No, it's like that bit I just said. That's kind of as much as really gets addressed.
Yeah. I kind of like the fact it's kind of relaxed about it all, and it really isn't a big deal. It kind of feels one of the more progressive elements of the whole thing. There's other things that is the dubbing, really, but the dubbing is also hilarious. There's just funny stuff. There's stuff like Monkey spends 3 days fighting the entire heavenly host, which, to be clear, is an infinite number of soldiers who are all immortal. Right? Monkey fights them and beats them all. And once he's beaten them, he goes back and lands and he goes, who's the greatest? And Pigsy goes, well, I am. You know, it's stuff like that all the way through, and they're always encountering like relatives, and you know,
Yeah.
um,
Like, these are people that, if you know the story, the main characters are disposed, like, basically, they were like part of the Heavenly Host. In the show, it's Monkey's direct actions that basically get them kicked out of heaven.
out, so
but in the book, they're just separate events cause them to be kicked out.
Yeah, Monkey is like super tough and immortal 5 times over, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really fun show. It looks fun. I mean, there's some model work that's really dodgy, but it doesn't matter because, you know,
it's full on like throw an Action Man toy across the room.
Yeah, or a bit Thunderbirdsy in places, which is when it's a bit better actually. But I was going to say something else. What was I going to say? I can't remember. But yeah, I just like the vibe of it too. I tell you what. We always watch it. When we watch an episode, we always watch it right to the end of the closing credits, don't we? Because they have this closing.
They've got really nice music.
It's a really nice song called Gandhara. I might put it at the end of this episode. Actually. Gandhara. So we just it's one of those theme tunes that gets you in the space when it starts, which is the Monkey Magic theme tune, and there's a song at the end, a different song, which kind of eases you out of the world of Monkey. So it's kind of a transitionary, a bit like Twin Peaks, right? When that starts, it takes you to a space ready to take in what's going on. And Monkey's like that. Monkey. I mean, as teenagers, we love Monkey. You know, everyone.
Whenever it does get to the ending, I'm just sort of left there like,
yeah. But Monkey was much beloved at school, right? Everyone talked about Monkey all the time. Whenever, you know, the next day you'd be talking about Monkey in the playground because it was so cool, right? So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. It was good to watch this again. We have finished it, so we got through 26, but really a big recommend. That first season of 26 is really good. And I'm sort of using that hesitantly because I think there was really 4 seasons of 13, but the first 2 are kind of linked together. In some ways you read it as season 1, and then the last 2 seasons are lumped together as season 2 in some places, you know. So sometimes when it says box set season 1, best check if it's 26 episodes or 13, right? Okay, so that is our comfy chair. So let's get into our movie. Your pick, RR. Do you want to tell us a bit? Give us a really high level view, and then we'll get into it. What do you reckon?
Okay, so the elevator pitch of this is it's an Indian action movie, very roughly based on the lives of 2 anti-English revolutionaries.
Yeah.
That said, it is still an Indian action movie, so these 2 are basically super beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a long film. This was
this is a very long
over
film.
3 hours in the end. But wow, did it fly by? Did it fly by? Yeah. There was no point in getting restless or getting bored. They just paced it really well. The action sequences were very long, but really good. But there were lulls and emotional. There was even song and dances, right?
Yeah. It won a Oscar.
Yeah,
songs and dances.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this. I mean, we haven't covered many Indian films. I think the only other one we've done is The Bang, which we both loved, right?
Yeah. Well, we did that Indian Terminator film, which we both hated.
Oh yeah, but I don't think we ever talked about it in the podcast. It was so poor, we didn't bother. Yeah. I don't think. But this was really fun. So 2022, 2 years old now. And honestly, it wasn't the RRR actually the names of the stars and the director.
Yeah, so the premise is basically it's like a work in progress name. So it's like it's the 2 action heroes and the director's name, as you say.
Yeah.
And from there they just kept the title, the work in progress title, and just sort of rolled with it.
Yeah, so. And basically, the 2 main characters are called Raju and Beam, right? Raju and Beam. And they're fighting, basically, and also the British Raj are in charge, and they're a bunch of Nazi arseholes, basically.
Yeah, they're real shit heels in this. But they're shit heels in general, but...
Yeah, and Ray Stevenson is the governor, here, and I mean that
Very
really.
free.
He is a governor, all right?
Yeah.
And he's a right shithole. Great turn from Ray Stevenson. And also we get Alison Doody, which is kind of interesting because last time I think I saw her and it was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade as his wife. And then a few other actors, British actors I don't really know. But I have to say the whole cast was solid, in my opinion. I liked all of it. We won't get scene by scene because we'll be here for 2 hours. But let's talk about how these two characters are introduced. I think the first one is Raju,
First
right?
one's Raju, and he is introduced in his role as a policeman, basically.
Yeah. Well, for the British, right?
Yeah, for the British, and it's part of a holdout on in an outpost.
Yeah.
Where there's a massive crowd of people all shouting for because there's some other revolutionary, I can't remember his name, has been arrested in a different.
Yeah.
I think they say it was in Calcutta.
Yeah.
This guy's been arrested. It's quite a ways. But someone throws a rock through at the British army guys that are hanging around.
Yeah.
And it smashes a picture of King George.
Yeah.
And the commander goes, "Get that man!" And no one else moves. And then Ram jumps over the barbed wire fence, the 10-foot tall barbed wire fence that they've got, leaps into the crowd and basically beats his way to this guy.
Yeah, this is not a small crowd.
Most of the crowd.
Yeah, the crowd numbers in the hundreds, if not thousands. That's how big the crowd is. And this guy just beats his way. He's getting beaten back, but he just keeps going and going and going, tracking his man down. This is in about 10 minutes, I'd say. 10-minute sequence. And it's quite amazing. I mean, the effort that went into this is quite amazing. It basically, you think he's going down at one point because everyone surrounds him and grabs him and he seems to be pinned down, but he just beats his way out again, doesn't he?
Just keeps throwing punches.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going and going. And then they basically he gets his man. So the officer in charge is impressed.
They do a great bit of he comes back in beaten, bloodied. He just walks over to a water barrel, splashes it in the face, smooths out his mustache, goes back to attention.
Yeah, and
great.
he stands there, and the crowd just run away when it looks like
They'll
he's going back.
stop for a bit, and then just sort of slowly meander
Disperse,
away.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Beam is introduced here. Now, I was a little confused about this. I believe they were trying to trap a wolf, right?
Yeah, they were trying. It started
gets
out as a wolf.
Yeah.
So.
But then a tiger gets involved. So there's a prolonged sort of chase, avoidance, all sorts of things involving a tiger, ropes, traps. The tiger gets out, but they manage to hold it, things like that. This guy is basically taking on a tiger, right? And manages to outsmart with some other villagers. They manage to outsmart it, and he manages to. Again, there isn't as much to talk about, but it's quite an impressive bit of filmmaking. I mean, I have to say the animal CGI isn't great.
I feel like that's almost deliberate.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much animal fighting and throwing them about.
Yeah.
If there was any real animals, it would be abusive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the film starts with a disclaimer about the animals, doesn't it? It does start specifically with that. So that's how we meet these first two characters. Yeah. We also get, before any of this, we get the governor and his wife visiting. He's going hunting, so they're in a village, and the little girl is painting the hand of the lady, Alison Doody's character.
It's henna tattoos.
Yeah, who really is taken with it and says, I want her. And he throws some money down, and the village elder thinks that she's giving him money for the song she's been singing.
Yeah.
But no, they just take her. And the mother tries to stop her, and the bloke's about to shoot her, where the governor gives us a very specific speech, which we kind of encounter more than once, about the cost of a bullet. A bullet made in England that sailed across the sea costs £1, and a life of an Indian isn't worth £1, so don't use bullets on them.
Yeah.
It's kind of horrible vibe. So in the end, the guy just hits her with a stick. And I thought she was dead,
Yeah.
actually, but she turns out she's not. And the little girl gets kidnapped. But this is from a tribe called the Gond, who are very protective and always have one warrior who looks after them, which is Beam, right?
Yeah.
That's how
It's Beam, so.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, Raju wants to become a special officer, and they give nominations to all the trainees. And so, because only 3 are selected, but he's not one of them, and he's really angry about it, you can tell. And you think he's just driven and ambitious, right? That's the impression you get.
We find out later there's a good
there will be spoilers a bit of spoilers in this. But they kind of happen to be in the same part. Basically, there's also there's a warning, isn't there, that the Gond are going to be sending someone to rescue the little girl.
The sort of local Indian ruler, for lack of a better term, has specifically told them, like, okay, there will be someone coming to get this girl back.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to happen. I'm just being polite here. You need to keep an eye out for this.
Well, first he suggests they return the little girl, don't they? So they politely request you return her, and they say why, and he explains. So then it's then the governor's like, right, we want volunteers to track down this person. We have no information, and Raju steps up, and the officer who witnessed him take on hundreds of men at once says, I can vouch for this man. If anyone can do it, he can. Because he wants to be basically, if you capture this man this force of nature that's coming from the little girl alive, you'll be made a special officer. Otherwise, dead, you get a special bounty. He wants them alive, basically. So there's some of that, but essentially they kind of team up because there's a massive train crash from a bridge which sets the river alight, and a little boy is caught in the flames, isn't he, in a boat. The flames are closing in, and they kind of coordinate together in a ridiculous way because they don't know each other. It's all weird hand signals that don't make any sense, but they use motorbikes and ropes and all sorts.
They basically fling themselves off the bridge in different ways, carrying big flags. And cover dip the flag in the water, cover the kid in the flag, throw the kid through the fire.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's mental.
It's another fantastic set piece, and there's a lot in this film. That's merely the third one we've had. Right? I have to say also, actually, the scene with the governor taking the little girl was quite an effective and impactful scene as well. That's kind of cool. And then they kind of become mates then, right? But Beam can't tell him his real name, even though they're almost like brothers straight away. And Raju can't tell Beam. But there's also a little incident where one of Beam's friends is with Raju, and because they talk about revolutionary, and Raju's like, "Why don't we kill the governor?" And they're like, "Whoa!" But then it gets revealed he's a policeman, some idiot at a checkpoint when he tries to sort of say, "Look, I'm an officer, let us through." Salutes him, which gives it the game away. But that guy manages to get away. But then Beam says, "Right, you've got to just go into hiding. You can't be seen anymore." Anyway. There's also kind of an incident. One of the English women at the governor's house has got a car, and they basically Beam's kind of in love with her almost.
Beam has a bit of a thing for Jenny.
Jenny, that's it, Jenny. And there's some comedy about misunderstood phrasing, isn't there? He asked her what her name is, and she said, "My name, don't call me Memsab, my name is Jenny." So he thinks her name is, "Don't call me Memsab, my name is Jenny." And he kind of learns it phonetically. But when he tells Raju, he goes, "No, her name's just Jenny. Her name's just Jenny." Basically Raju throws tacks in front of her car, which then means she breaks down, and then Beam helps her. And says it'll take he says it'll take 5 minutes, and Raju translates, "Oh no, it'll take 3 hours." things like that. So she's forced to. Anyway, she invites him to a party, and Raju and Beam turn up. And there's this horrible English ratty shit hill guy going on about you don't know how to dance, and he goes because Jenny's trying to teach him the waltz, and he says there's the flamenco and there's this and there's that, and he goes how about, and I can't remember the name, it's an Indian, Desi Nash, and there's a dance off basically.
Yeah, so we get introduced. We hear the Oscar-winning song "Nacho Nacho."
It's really cool.
Which roughly translates to "Dance, White Boy, Dance."
That's what boy about that. I love it, and I have to say I really enjoyed the fact the ladies really liked it, and the blokes didn't. The English blokes didn't, and they all got a dance, and it was kind of fun. So what happens next? So basically, Beam's trying to figure out how to get in there.
It's a protracted
find
plan.
Mally and says, we'll be coming to
there's a protracted plan where he gets in for a bit to scout out the place.
Yeah.
He finds her, but then he has to leave because he's just there as a guest at the moment.
Yeah, and it's quite intense and kind of tragic. He has to leave her. And in the meantime, Raju manages to track down his man. He's walking around the whole town saying, "Have you seen this man? Have you seen this man?"
Yeah.
But he never shows Beam, because if he did show Beam, Beam would realise. And he's about to show him, but the wind actually blows it out of his hand and in a puddle, right? So it gets smudged. So he can't use it anymore. Anyway, he gets Lachu, and he kind of he starts brutally beating him, right? To try and get information out of him.
It's quite grim, actually.
Yeah. But Lachu manages to catch a very poisonous snake in his hand.
Yeah.
And get his bonds free, and he throws it at Raju, who gets bitten and says, "Right, the English don't have a cure for this. You're gonna die." And Raju, rather than kill him for doing this, lets him go and says, "Have a good life, brother," or something like that, right? Which kind of shows, this guy's not what we think he is, right?
Yeah.
And basically, he manages to stagger out and be found by Beam, who does know the cure because he's a Gon. The Gons know how to cure this, and he kind of cures him, though it's kind of horrible. But while he's doing it, he kind of tells Raju who he is and what he's got to do. Right? He's got to rescue the little girl and stuff like that. And he goes, "I'm sorry, brother, I didn't tell you before. I just didn't want to endanger your life." And things like that. And then another absolutely massive set piece that's really hilarious and grim and fun and just unbelievable. Essentially, the Beam and some of the Gons rock up with cages of animals and let them all out. So there's bears, scary bears, tigers, leopards, deer, and proper grim stuff, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of people getting thrown into the jaws of an animal.
Yeah. But Raju, who has now recovering, turns up and starts fighting Beam, and Beam doesn't understand why. And essentially, the governor stops it in the end. I mean, I'm really skirting over this.
We're skirting over this.
15, 20-minute fight sequence.
Yeah. This is a 3-hour movie. We're barely into the first...
Yeah.
Well, we're into the second hour.
Yeah, I'd say second hour, towards the end of the second hour, maybe. But essentially, the governor holds the little girl at gunpoint and says, "If you don't give up, she'll die." So he has to give himself up, which means Raju's got his promotion. He's now a special officer because he caught the man alive, but Beam has been caught. And then we get quite an extended flashback of the previous life story of Raju. Where essentially his father's a revolutionary. He sees what the British has done, and the father relates a story when the governor was younger, where he talks about a bullet is worth 6 shillings. Which gives you an idea of how old that governor's been in charge, right? And he said, basically he's saying an Indian life isn't worth 6 shillings. And at that point, he left the guards, didn't he, and became a revolutionary. Yeah. And he's training up an army, but none of them have got guns. So he's basically saying, "No, we got one rifle."
They have one rifle and all the ammo he took, basically. And they're trying to manage that.
Yeah, and Raju, as a little boy, makes off with the rifle and uses it, and his dad finds out.
It's
Is
a
it his
massive
dad? It's
shot.
his dad, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
his
his
dad.
Yeah. And he finds out because he's got a bruised shoulder. He says, "What have you done?" Because I used the rifle, and they take him and a little girl, who is it Sita? I can't remember. Sita, a little girl who is a grown woman waiting for Raju to return. She's been waiting 4 years. We see in an earlier scene. Says, "Oh no, he's a really good shot," and they take him, and he is a massively good shot, right? Unbelievably good shot. Basically, the British track this village down and start laying waste. And first the dad starts shooting him, but he gets shot, and he basically talks Raju through shooting back. You know, what's it? He goes, load, aim, shoot, load, aim, shoot, in a proper drilled fashion. But yeah, so the idea is Raju's trying to get access to guns to give to all the revolutionaries, and he only can do that by becoming a special officer and being put in charge of an armory, which happens, right? That happens. But he has to also beat that living daylights out of Beam, and make him submit,
make him kneel,
apologise, make him kneel, and he refuses to kneel. And there's a lot of they're also, it's kind of cool because they're surrounded by hundreds of Indians again, with not that many British troops, but the governor's so confident of his, control that he's not that bothered. And his wife's super horrible. She's going, I was expecting blood. And she throws down a whip with nails through, basically, to scorch the skin off, and says, use this one instead. And Raju has to use it. Now, this isn't as bloody as it could have been. He keeps his shirt on, and we don't see a lot of blood, but you just know that would be awful to use on someone. Right?
It's more like it visibly, the whip sticks to him.
Yeah.
And it gets slowly pulled back.
So Beam starts singing a song about the forests, right?
Yeah.
And the crowd kind of rebel, right? So what happens next? They finishes, doesn't it? If I remember.
Yeah, they have to get rid of Beam in private, basically, because if he dies out in front, he'll be a martyr.
Yeah, and Raju talks them into that and says, "Let me do it," or something like that. So essentially, they take him to a location which allows him to, and he says, "Let him also die in front of Marley, the little girl." He's kind of setting it up so Beam can rescue her and escape, right? That's his plan. But of course, Beam doesn't know this, and when he actually does escape, and he sees Raju's running towards him with a gun. He is aiming at a soldier behind them who's about to shoot them. Beam doesn't realise this. It looks like he's about to shoot them, right? So he beats the shit out of Raju, who does not really resist, but can't bring himself to kill him, right? And they just run away and escape, and then Raju, because he shot British soldiers.
He shot British soldiers.
Shoved into solitary, right?
Yeah. And it's got this weird kind of, for lack of a better term, Uncle Iroh moment from Avatar, where they open the cell and he's just doing pull-ups.
Oh, yeah, because it starts with, he's been, hasn't eaten in 7 days, he'll be starving and weak now. But when they open the doors, he's doing pull-ups. He's just doing pull-ups. So they shove him in a hole in the ground, solitary cell, hole in the ground. But he still keeps trying. But Beam cannot leave him there, can he? He goes. No. He says because he also learns from Caesar. I can't remember the plotting, but it's quite clever. It's kind of by mistake. She starts talking about her fiance and the plan, and he realises, so he has to go back and rescue Raju, which he does. And again, another set piece that's pretty damn cool. But I like it here. I mean, at this point, Raju, they escape in the forest, but they know the British are coming. And Raju goes kind of, I want to say full Rambo, but really it's a Godhead, isn't it? It's a Rama.
Yeah.
It goes to the Rama Shrine. Rama Shrine's literally got a bow and a functioning bow and arrows, which he then takes also dressed up as Rama, and kind of they're in the forest.
Well, it's more his hair has grown and he's been beaten
Yeah,
so thoroughly.
yeah, and he's got a
Like,
beard. Yeah,
he's in full like action hero mode.
yeah,
This.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's we get like quite a protracted bit of just arrows flying out of nowhere and killing Englishmen.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and quite satisfyingly, the wife of the governor gets killed in barbed wire, which kind of reflects.
Tangled up completely in barbed wire. It's brutal.
Yeah. And yeah, there's again a massive. There must be 6 really big set pieces in this film, and then essentially, it kind of ends happily. These are but with a song and dance number.
Yeah.
Right. Almost like the end of Mamma Mia, in that it's not set in the real world. They're in a location, dressed up in fancy clothes, doing a full song and dance number. Really enjoyed this film.
Yeah,
it was terrific.
Really
I'm glad you suggested it. I know you suggested it a while back because I think you'd watched it, and but a really, really fun film. I just like that. I'm sure there was lots of allusions to Indian sort of mythology and sort of beliefs that went over our heads, right? I'm sure there was, but we got some of the main things. I hope, and we really enjoyed it, and the whole cast were really good. I liked everyone in this. I thought they were all good.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad performance. Even if the English dubbing was a bit weird, we didn't watch it.
It was looped in a
but
weird
the
way,
English
wasn't it?
Voice, all the English characters were very much over-pronouncing all of their words, and I don't know if that was some sort of stylistic thing that I'm not aware of. Because it seems odd that all of them, except really Ray Stevenson, was like.
Who's going to tell Ray that? Can you do it again with this? Yeah, that ain't going to happen, is it? That ain't going to happen. But a lot of the more minor characters had a weird overdubbing. It was a bit. Is that them talking or what's happening? And I think I said to you, do you think they didn't use do you think they got in sort of Indian actors to do the dubbing, but asked them to do what they thought was English in the 1920s? We couldn't work it out, but no, it was. I'm pretty sure it was the people, the actors doing their own looping, but it was just a little odd. But it didn't matter. It was kind of fine. I wonder what inspired this film. Do you think a bit of Rambo inspired it? Do you think?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. Apparently, one of the directors said it was also inspired by Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, and I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
In fact, we did the Dirty Dozen the other day, and that wasn't a million miles away from this, was it? In some respects, the sort of mayhem at the end. So I like the message. I just thought it was kind of cool. The English were arseholes, and I was fine with that. That's absolutely fine. We were bastards back then, so yeah. Apparently it also borrows from two. This is the sort of thing I was hinting at about. There was allusions there we didn't know. Apparently this borrows on 2 major Hindu mythological epics, which is, I hope I don't butcher this, Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Rama and Sita.
Okay.
Hence the name of Rama and Sita.
Okay, yeah. Because I've called him Raju, but he was called Rama, wasn't he? Actually,
yeah.
So I mean, great film. I really enjoyed it. The CGI was shonky, but it didn't detract at all. We watched this on a fairly big screen. It looked terrific. Streamed from Netflix. And the 3 hours just flew by.
Yeah.
Just flew by. And you could watch it in parts. It was somewhat episodic, and I think you could probably work. I could stop it now because we're about to go into the next phase. When people get rescued or, a certain set pieces happened and it's a bit calmer. That's a good time to pause it if you want to watch it in bits. We didn't. We watched it in one sitting, didn't we? Happily watched it in one sitting. I did like the song and dance. Very enjoyable film, this. I haven't got much else to say other than that. I thought it was really good. Got any other points you want to make?
Really think of. So,
Okay. All right then. Let's rate it. What would? Shall I go first?
there you go first.
I think this is a solid equivalent of 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5 for me. And possibly I might watch it again. It might even go higher. I don't think it's ever going to go below that for me. I thought it was a really well made, entertaining piece of cinema. I really, really enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, yeah, very much the same. I put up an easy 9 out of 10. Just a sheer enjoyment factor. That's and yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well, so that was your picks, and the next time we do this, will be my pick. I'm going to bring something suitably actiony. I think we got to be careful. We're getting near Christmas now, so we might sort of verge into Christmas films. We'll see, but we'll kind of wind it up there. So, bye from me.
Bye.